God is good, and with each day that passes brings us a day closer to the launch of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. This is the Nathan Napalm channel, and if you are new here, please consider subscribing, especially if you're interested in Pantheon related content on our march to launch. Today, guys, I want to talk about instancing, and I know I've talked about it a lot. I've done several videos about it. However, recently, about 2 weeks ago, Joppa interviewed on the Pantheon Plus U show. There will be a link in the description down below if you'd like to see the full interview. Really great interview. One of the best interviews I've actually ever listened to. But there's a moment where Minus, the host of Pantheon Plus, he asked Joppa about the game tenets, right? So basically the commandments or the pillars that the development team has stuck to during the entire process of developing the game, and basically it's like the soul or the beating heart of what Pantheon is going to actually be at launch, and what they're going for. And every time that they create something, the game has to stick to those tenets, because that's the heart, that's the soul of what Pantheon is. And when he asked him if there's some of those, which of those have kind of, they're throwing out ideas on the table and kind of hashing through ideas for different things dealing with the game, and which one has been the one that keeps coming up where they're like, nope, we can't even discuss this idea because it goes against the game tenet. And I'm going to talk about it, what his response, but let's listen to it first and then we'll talk about it.
Have there been any of the tenets that, more than others maybe, have pulled you back and said, we got to stick to this? Where sometimes you might be floating away just in thought process, just an idea how to implement something, and then you really say, well, this is the one that we have to stand to.
Yeah. And the one that keeps coming to my mind in the most is the stance on instancing and not doing instancing, committing to an open world, shared world, shared environment. And there's so many temptations to veer away from that. There's so many places where it's like, it would just be so much easier to just instance everything. And it's like, and of course you see why it's not a bad decision, in the sense of it solves a lot of problems. And even as close as we've come, I would say it just in like even allowing it on the table as something to be thought through and talked about, openly.
It feels like dirty or something, like, oh no.
Yeah. Like even as close as we've gotten, like it always comes down to, there is just an effect that it has invariably on the community and the social aspects of the game that is just irreconcilable. There's an irreconcilable cost to that. And so
I want to talk about that, especially because he said it's irreconcilable, and it is. It totally is. So when you have instancing, when you just have this theme park style jump from this cool thing to do, this dungeon, grind out, wing your way through it, get carried through it, whatever, you've done that, been there, done that. Now let's get to the next attraction, then the next, and you're just consuming content, just bam, bam, bam. If you build an open public dungeon, as Pantheon's doing, with disposition so that the mobs change and they behave differently, with roaming mobs who sometimes aren't roaming, where the bosses sometimes might move, you're creating this non-Groundhog Day effect, and you're creating a world, and you're creating a place that is fun to be in, and where your experiences in that same exact dungeon are different every time you do it, as opposed to an instance dungeon, which is exactly the same, which you do over and over and monotonous, and you're grinding it out because you want a specific drop, or you're just because it's fast XP, whatever the case is, that you're doing the same instance over and over. And maybe it's just part of your daily quest, so you just got to do it 100 times to get your little tokens so you can get this piece of gear that you need. Boring. Absolutely mind-numbingly boring. I've literally been running dungeons before over and over for dailies or what have you, and actually nodding off like I'm so bored, right? Like I've got this memorized, my muscle memory can get through this encounter. I don't even need to really pay attention anymore. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm with other real people over and over, and I don't remember any of their names. It doesn't matter. I'm never going to see these people again. I'll say hello. If somebody says something, I say LOL. Minor communication, because the point of this instance is to get through as quick as possible so that you can do it again and again and again for whatever reward it is that you're doing it for. That is a not immersive, not fun. That's grind, which grind can be fun. Trust me, I love grinding. I love it. But when it's a Groundhog Day effect, it's very difficult to actually say, man, I had fun today. I did the same exact thing 5,000 times. That was my Saturday. I ran that dungeon all day long. Man, that was fun. I met 400 people. I don't remember a single one of their names. I don't remember anything about them. I don't even know who they were. I don't know if I was playing with other dudes, or if I was playing with girls, or if I was playing with children. I don't know. I don't care. I got that piece of loot. Cool. Awesome day. Great Saturday. What a way to spend your weekend, right? It's just kind of a waste, right? When you have a public dungeon, there's constant interaction with other people who are there. There's situations where you need other people's help outside your party, or where even bad things happen, right? Like somebody continues to pull from your group. You have a little confrontation, your group versus their group, etc. Things happen. It's an event, even when it's not good. It's a memory. It's something that happened, right? And you probably remember the names of the jerk, right? Who kept pulling, and when you said, hey man, we've been here for a long time. I don't care, man, screw you. You're not gonna forget that guy. You're going to remember him. Now, when you get a party and it's somebody who just sucks, or they're still standing at the spawn point and they're not even helping the group, they get kicked out and you find somebody else new, the instant queue somebody else in. You don't remember that person. It doesn't matter. What's even the point of remembering that guy? You're never going to see him again, right? Chances are that you'll never be in a party with that idiot again. But when you run into an idiot, for example, in an open world, you might run into this guy again. Right? Tomorrow you might log on, he's back in that dungeon again, doing the same douchebaggery. And he gets a reputation for that. Because now you're in there with other people and you're like, oh, guys, let me tell you about this guy. He's going to pull, let's just go somewhere else, because this guy's going to ruin our day. He's going to ruin our time. And then now everybody else knows that this guy did that, right? And he's building a reputation for himself. He's now a bad actor. He's a bad character. He's a villain in the game. A real human being who is now a villain. And that's fun, right? Even that, which is horrible and it sucks sometimes, and people can ruin your day. But it doesn't matter, because that's an experience. You're going to remember it, and you're going to know that guy. And you're going to be telling other people about that guy and what he did. And so you see that that's very different than an instance where it doesn't matter. Bad actor, good actor, whatever. Can we get through this? I'm only going to be in this instance for 10 minutes max, probably. Let's just get through it as quick as possible. It's garbage. It's easy. And that's the other thing. Developers, if they're making instancing, the problem is, because I hear people saying this, right? They're like, well, yeah, but the real problem is that they're not creating difficult instances where we have to work together. Okay, I agree that instancing solves a lot of problems. Just like Joppa said, it's very difficult when they're developing the game, because they're like, ugh, this problem we're having could easily be solved if we just did an instance here. But no, we can't do that. It's against the tenants. We gotta do it. It's irreconcilable. We can't do that to the community. It's not good for community. We're not gonna do it. Even if you develop a difficult instance, it doesn't change the fact that you're gonna be with random people when you queue in. And these random people are gonna sometimes be awful. They're gonna be really bad. They're not gonna care, right? So when you create difficult instances, you create people not even wanting to play your game anymore, because they keep getting in with these people who are awful, right? These pug groups that are bad, etc. So what actually happens is the developers have to create the instances to be easy. They have to, in order for people not to get so aggravated they don't even want to do them anymore. So they're kind of forced, their hand is forced into creating easy content so that anybody can face roll through it. Therefore, you don't get aggravated when you're playing the game. However, what's even the point now of playing the game? Because you could face roll through it. You see what I'm saying? It creates a very negative impact on the genre. And I'm not saying I don't understand why instancing was introduced to games. I totally get it. It was a solution to problems. However, Pantheon seems to think that they have the solution. Not to say you'll never have a bad experience, okay? It's impossible. Experience is just that. It's an experience. You have to take the good, and you have to take the bad, and you have to take the neutral. And it's an experience. There is no experience without some bad. But they think, and we don't know all the details yet, but they think they've come up with a way for in-game raiding with no instancing to somehow work in today's day and age in some kind of way and be, for the most part, enjoyable. How are they going to do that? I have no idea. They claim that they have a new system, they come with a new solution that is not instancing, that will create a very good experience. So we'll just have to take them for their word for now, or not, but so far so good. When they say they've got something, they've got something. I think they've fallen completely above line on satisfaction on everything we know about so far. So you know what? I think they have a pretty good solution. In any case, I don't care. They're evolving the industry past instancing. And this is a massive multiplayer online RPG. So we need it to be massive. We need other people online. And we need to play together and create a community, because that's what this game is. And we're already creating community around this game, and the game's not even out yet. So I think it's going to be fairly safe to say that we're going to have a good time most of the time. But what about those bad times, right? What about those times where your whole day was ruined, it was ransacked by the douchebaggery? What about those times? Well, here's what I've noticed in my many years playing MMOs, and I think you're going to think about this and be like, yeah, that's happened to me too. So I have this horrible day where I was trying to get something done, and some douchebag or group of douchebags or entire guild of douchebaggery ruins my day or weekend even over douchebaggery, right? Let's just keep it simple. And I'm at work and I'm talking to my coworkers and I'm saying, they're like, what'd you do this weekend? I'm like, man, I was playing my game and this happened, and that guy was doing this, and we tried to stop it, and then this happened, and then it evolved into his whole guild attacking us, and it was blah 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 blah, the whole scenario. And they're like, dang, what game do you play? Because that sounds pretty intense. I just killed some people in Call of Duty in instanced matches. Right? So I've told stories before, especially in the earlier days of MMOs when a lot of people didn't even know what they were, or even that games like that existed, and they would immediately be intrigued. I would be upset. I'd be telling the story like, man, it was bullcrap. Here's what happened. I'd tell them the story, and they're like, what game is this? Where things like this are even possible, where people can interact on such a deep level, right? It's an MMO, right? It's a massive multiplayer game where thousands of people are playing together. So the possibilities of what happened to you when you're playing the game are practically endless, because you have thousands of personalities and thousands of people with different objectives doing different things in a shared world. That doesn't happen when you have a lot of instancing, right? When all your main course, so like you have your dungeons would be your lunch, you have your raid or boss encounters, which are your supper, and you have your loot, which is your dessert. Crappy analogy, but whatever, hang with me. And all of those were instanced. All of those were catered for me and my group. So we took the social aspect and we just said, go away. The only social thing we need is for other people to be playing with you so that you can do this particular thing that you want to do in a very closed, safe little bubble where you can have fun and not have to worry about anybody else. Except for now the fun's not there. Now you just removed the stories we're going to go and tell. Now I have no stories. What did you do today? I ran dungeon, killed some bosses. It was cool. I got a really cool new helmet on my virtual avatar. That sounds so lame, dude. That is the lamest story. I wouldn't even go tell that story at all. I'd just be like, yeah, I played some video games. I don't know what else to say, dude. I ran the same dungeon all weekend. I don't have a good story of what I did this weekend. I just wasted my weekend practically. I didn't meet anybody. No bonds, no friendships, no new alliances were formed. I just freaking played with some people. I don't remember any of them, and it is so worthless. I'm not even going to tell that story. I'm just going to say I played some video games. I sat on my butt and I played video games. I drank some beer. That's about it. That's what happened. So when you have a really deep social experience, public dungeons, open world, people everywhere doing different things and colliding sometimes, creating creating stories in the world. These are stories now, right? Like, yeah, we went in this dungeon, dude. We were trying to get this specific drop. You know, you had to kill this boss. It's a low drop rate anyway, or we had to kill this specific mob, and we got slaughtered. We were talking, and we were somebody made a funny joke or whatever, and we got killed, and then we had to get help, and this other group came, and they rezzed us, and then they got attacked by the mobs, and then somebody ran through the train right when we were all healing back up, and we got killed again. Now the other group got killed by the train as well, and on and on. Now there's a story. Now something happened. Now that was a different experience. It wasn't even good. I'm telling you examples of bad things on purpose, because that's what we're all afraid of. When we hear that there's going to be no instancing, we start immediately thinking of all the bad things that could possibly come from that. And the point that I want to make, so brutally want to make, is that these bad experiences are stories. And when somebody else hears that story, it'll be something you'll want to tell. And when people hear it, it's something. It is tangible. Things happened. You had interactions. You had an experience. And that's what Pantheon's trying to do, is create memories and experiences that you can have. And the only way to really do that is by creating a challenging world where you're actually engaged, where you have to work together, and that it's open world so that everybody has to be involved in this story. It's not just you and your party, it's you and everybody there. And that is what MMORPGs were destined to become. That's what they were. That was the joy of them. That was what was so fun, is that you could log in and have no idea exactly. You might know exactly what you're going to do that day, but you have no idea the stories that are going to come from that as you begin interacting with other people and getting them in your party, finding them, seeking them out, seeing a bard all by himself in a dungeon and being like, hey man, you want to come with us? We got a spot open, etc. Meeting new people, good and bad people, running into them and allowing each person to create a storyline for your day, for your gameplay session, for your weekend, for your whatever. And that's why it's irreconcilable to do instancing, because you remove that. Now you've created a session of gameplay that, like I said, the developer's gonna have to, they're forced to make it kind of easy, right? Something that the most people should be able to handle so that you don't get aggravated, because it's the point of instancing. So make it just a smooth, easy glide through process, and you just removed all the fun. Now all the fun is gone, and that's why it's irreconcilable. In my opinion, these factors are why it is. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And listen, I'm not arguing with you. I don't know how they're going to do in-game rating in such a way to eliminate some of the problems. And there will be some, right? But let's just see what they got for that, okay? The journey is what most of us are here for, and the journey isn't the in-game raids. The journey, well, actually, that is kind of part of it, because, you know, there's post-max level journey, okay? But the leveling up is what I'm mainly focused on now, is that journey from level 1 to max level, the people I meet, the experiences and stories I tell from the game. And it's going to be exciting, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be one of those situations where I'm going to want to record every game session in case something cool happens. I've got it on video, and I can make a video about it and show you guys and expose those douchebags. No, I'm just kidding. Well, actually, we might do some of that too. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and if you agree with me, or maybe you have a whole nother interpretation of how instancing is irreconcilable to the community. Just leave me a comment down below. And of course, guys, that clip that we talked about today was from Pantheon Plus. Great channel. Pantheon Plus U is his weekly show where you can come on and you can talk. You can come onto the show live and give your opinion on the subject at hand, etc. Really cool show. Probably the coolest Twitch video game show I'm aware of. Very cool, very awesome. But anyway, there's a link for that down below, and if you haven't checked out Minus or Pantheon Plus, you should probably do that, because it's a pretty cool channel. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video today, and until next time, God bless and happy gaming. Listen to what I say. I've been making videos all day. My friends all say I'm it's a video buffet. You can even hit replay. But please just subscribe. I can't even describe part of my tribe. I'll even offer you a prize, but please just subscribe and hit the bell notification too.